Thanks for doing this. We really enjoyed, personally, I really enjoyed the presentation yesterday. Phenomenal video, great. I mean, explained us what Arctic Space do. And again, for the audience, I wanted to also basically doing the Altair Insights podcast as we talk on connecting space with business. Just to talk about Arctic Space, what solutions you provide for space, talk about you as a founders, what you're working on, and definitely would like to hear more. But as the first place, obviously Sandra is not here, but like to know more about yourself. I mean, how did you ended up working in space? What was the transition for you?
Yeah, I mean, to sum it up really easy, I kind of have a huge problem to say no to things. So
I've seen it.
It becomes like okay, yes, and that kind of takes me within areas and position and roles and companies that I couldn't imagine like 20 years ago. And 10 years ago, I wouldn't have thought about it. I would be sitting here with you right now and talking about space and people listening to me and appreciate what I have to share. Yeah. And that's kind of just this extreme curiosity. Yeah. And that probably is mostly good, but it also could be, for others, I would say, a bit, I can stress people. I might do that because I'm not pleased. It's a little bit hard to know where you have reached the goal because it's always something that you want to go
just never being satisfied. And,
no, yeah. But I really try to be satisfied. But nevertheless, it's like, oh, I thought, could we do this? Could we do that? Perhaps we should do something else.
Exactly. Yes. Good. I mean, so now talking about Arctic Space, so can you give us a little bit of background? Obviously, I have a lot of information in front of me, so website, so arcticspace.se, for people to find more information. Obviously, you'll find everything included. Maybe we can also include, we'll discuss that, a presentation or something in that regards for people to see, or maybe more free resources, videos. That was an amazing video for your company to learn, but maybe you can give us a kind of 10,000 feet overview what's happening in Arctic Space.
Yeah, so much more than I can share. So there a lot of stuff happening there. It's like official and everything, and then as many companies we are working and having leads and opportunities that we try to close. Right. So I'm one of the trying to be the closers in the company, make deals happen, and that's what we're doing right now and has been doing as well. So space company started in 2019. 5 people, growing continuously. So perhaps in a week it would be 6 people, and in 2 weeks it could be 7. It's not unlikely at all. It might happen. And baseline is ground station communication. So making it possible for the customers to bring down their data to a ground station, and then we can process it or store it, and then the customer will receive it. And then what we do, we add on a huge layer of sustainability, combined with innovation solution, tailor-made solutions, higher security level. But that really should be standard. But what's not standard, that we do this totally free of greenhouse gases, and that becomes a huge business opportunity for other companies that want to or needs to be, because they might have an end user that put a requirement to say that if you want to do this for us, it needs to be sustainable, and then we can offer that in a way that only a few might do. And then, as I explained also yesterday, because the location is, if you work with polar orbits, which our location is extremely good for. We can also do geo, but we do polar, and we have visibility Mediterranean to the North Pole from our ground station where we started off. And that just location gives huge advantage for communication time, but that's basic facts, and Mother Nature gave us that opportunity, so we use it. Yeah. And then we added on that we work together with a green data center, a partner to us, and that green data center makes it possible then to have this free of greenhouse gases, and it also makes it possible to have the higher security levels, because they work with armed forces, for example, as a customer, and then you need to do higher security. And then it's one more thing, that because we direct connect the antenna systems, with a fiber cable directly into the data center through the wall and everything. So we're talking about direct connect, not like we have fiber and then it connects to some something else in between, and that gives the latency problem takes away, and then can store X amount of data. And we combine different things, and together it becomes more or less a unique thing.
Right. Well, I've seen it definitely. I mean, the unique way, and I've seen you looked at some other presentations of other similar companies also. Their thing is obviously there are operators out there, but in the way that you provide, your services, as you're saying, is more kind of through sustainable way. And especially speaking right now, I'd like to discuss the security issues, especially right now in the time and age that we live in. And it feels like we're very vulnerable to cyber attacks. So how big of a threat is that to ground stations, and again to the connectivity with the satellites, and how you try to mitigate those risks?
Yeah, and it totally exists, and the threat we need to take really seriously, and to make sure that you have secure communication. That's kind of, it sounds like when you said basic, but you need to have it, because if you can't secure that one, the rest will just might break sooner or later.
Right.
And so, customers will take it. We should just deliver it, and then it's like, how can we then do that? And then it is one of the things when you build up a company and you don't have like a history that you need to take care of, you can build with tomorrow's solutions, but we do it today instead of using yesterday's solutions and yesterday's infrastructure. And of course, it is an advantage sometimes to have an existing company with huge antenna systems all over the world and everything. But of course, some of the antennas, they are not up to date, and the security is not up to date because it takes a lot of time to make updates and costs a lot of money. But what we then did, that we could tailor-made it in the level that we want to have it, or we also assume that our potential customers and customer wants to have it. So we started off with an extreme high security level.
Right.
We couldn't make it any higher.
Yeah, exactly. I guess that's the concern, especially where now some of your partners, if you don't mind me just mentioning, you're working with ESAR, Airbus Defense, Bradford Space, Viasat. I mean, those are big operators, and obviously for them, security is probably one of the
like security is in the brand.
Exactly.
It's like one of the keys, and then usually that's like needs to be there. And sustainability as well. Usually you hear more about it sometimes than you see. It's easy to say,
right,
and it's like, but do we do it? As the presentation was kind of the golden thread. We know what to do, but are we certain that we know how to do it? And I would say on the global level, I'm not too sure, because then we would do it and then we would be more successful. Locally, many countries are doing very well, but it's not a local problem. Issues, sustainability, environment, climate changes, and so on. It's a global thing that needs to be handled from a global perspective, and it's extremely hard to do when you go to war to each other, or you kind of protect your natural resources from a different perspective, not because it's important for the planet, because it's important for this country.
Right.
And of course, it's kind of easy for me to sit here and say, but despite that, I mean, what can you do if you kill the planet? Okay, we should really rush then to look at the alternatives inside the space, outside in space, and Mars and the Moon and so on.
Right.
But I mean, it's really frustrating, because so many are aware of the problems, but think that we can do so much more.
Yeah.
And we really want to do that, and that's also why it's important for us to bring sustainability aspect even more. I mean, of course, a lot of the companies are working with that, and we really want to push it to the next level, because I think that competition makes you better.
Yeah.
So I'm just embrace it, and I would say, like, one competitor today, partner tomorrow.
Oh, exactly. Good point.
So, I mean, it should be healthy. But should do everything we can and a bit more, and then and the customer will gain from it, and the nature and the climate will gain from it, and that's a win-win-win.
Exactly. So when you're speaking about the next level of sustainability, what does it look like for you?
I mean, next level, I think then we can start to use what somebody mentioned here, it use really space, and to bring the advantages, the opportunities the space would give us down to earth. We will also have her, I think it was as a Cosmos, that had some good examples. We have had some Tom and Tina Sjögren from Python. We're talking about you can, medicine, and if you use space, that we see that there are huge advantages, to do things in gravity, and that one would I really like to see, and how to transform solar power down to earth, because I mean in Europe we have a energy crisis ongoing, and there's a lot of crisis ongoing, and this will just be likely more severe, have more impact, and we can't fix today's problem with yesterday's technique. So we need to use tomorrow's, and then I think that we go into tomorrow's sustainability, the next level sustainability. That much more than just put more taxes on petrol, for example, so we need to address it.
Almost force individual to move to the sustainable route of things, right?
Yeah, and I don't like this with force.
Thin line to
it's extremely thin.
Force is a very big word,
It is, but of course, when you realize something and you do it because you feel that you want to do it, perhaps you feel that you need to do it. You don't need to feel that someone told you to do it because you don't like that. I mean, I think it's in humans. Don't tell me what
subtle.
to do.
Has to be very subtle.
And probably it takes a lot of time. And then we come into role models, leadership, and if you don't have world leaders or politicians or great leaders or companies that are role models, I mean, if you can't follow them, then you have problems, and that's also what you see. So the rich become richer, and the gap just increasing, and then you have problems, and this needs to be fixed, and that's also why it's this superpower team or superhero team in the presentation. And in a way just make it happen in a way that average people see that things can be done, not because somebody forced them to do it, but someone say, oh, they did it because they felt that they wanted to do it. And working with those kind of questions, not just to make money, but we are also in this business to make money.
So the question is, following that how business and businesses like yourself who are operating in space, and sometimes to live and survive and to thrive, and especially going through ups and downs and economies, as we're kind of facing 23 with economical predictions of recession, 12 to 16, 18 months, depending who you're listening to, who do you follow. How somebody can manage their company successfully, scale it, have more people, more clients, just do more things, and at the same time have this approach of doing things in a sustainable way.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the timing it is also so important.
Which is, I think, now is a good time, right?
And for us, and for myself, I think I will have bad timing if you just look at like career-wise and the right place at the right time. Experience-wise, and to grow knowledge and network and everything has been a good time. But if you want to work with innovation or entrepreneurship or growing a company, I've managed to be at the wrong place at that time, or at the right place at the wrong time. Working with armed forces when we just cut down everything, you just decrease, and left, and now it's just increase. Now we're just building back everything that was cut down like 10 years ago. And what's so super fun, that's space. And one other thing that I wanted to bring up all the time is to find the why that you do it. And if you're like embracing your job and becomes more the hobby, then it will be so much easier to do it, and people will see, and okay, there might be some disadvantage. You might work too much, or you might talk about your job too much, and your wife might say like, you can share some other things. But it's like, oh, but it's not just the job that I'm sharing. It's like, you know, it's my hobby as well. It's like, okay,
it's my life, right? I'm just living my life.
Yeah, I mean, and now it is a golden opportunity,
right.
and there are so many things that can be done, and we have so many things set already today,
right.
space related, which can be used to grow companies and to grow or to change what's not working today, but will work tomorrow. We don't need
right.
to invent all of the things. There are some things, of course, that should be and needs to be explored much more and invented. But we also can start with, hey, try to fix something that we already know about. And
right.
You know, Copernicus is such a great example. I just highlighted that one, just one of many.
One of many, yeah.
But it's so clear, and it's so spot on that we can see, you know, climate issues, flooding or dry or heat, you know, extreme weather comes more often. Like 20 years ago, that's happening today. These disaster movies, volcano eruptions and everything, and you saw these Hollywood movies about it, and okay, that's happening today.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Yes.
How much of we're talking about business operations and scale and growing your company and still thinking through this lens of sustainability, how much that plays a part of you actually being in the right location also, because you're right now in Sweden, and talking about infrastructure as we are right now in Turkey, Bursa, Turkey with ISC, the local companies probably that you spoke, if it's Turksat or any of those, they're also see a lot of support from the local government and building infrastructure, if that's, let's say, getting licenses for the communication or whatever that could be. So how that plays a part of helping companies or sometimes distracting them or actually ruin companies.
You just look at what we have experienced in Sweden, north of Sweden, and I mean, still plenty left of Sweden. We are just south of the polar or the Arctic Circle. So it's very open climate. The municipalities, so we work with mainly 2 municipalities because we have a headquarters in one and operations in another. They are open and they embrace that entrepreneurs would like to come there, but we don't really get any. It's no free tickets or anything. The one thing that should be mentioned that we also started off as a big company, so we was elected to be in the incubator for ESA. Which is a great thing. So then you get your support and you have the opportunity to raise some soft money, which Arctic Space been very successful doing. Yeah.
And by working with ESA, just for people to know, if somebody's going to be applying, if you get the investment, it's not like raising that from angel or VC. You're not obligated to return the money, right?
Exactly, there are, and we will also in a local other incubator as well. So we're in 2 incubators at the same time because. Good timing and great pitching. You know, Sandra she's not here. She's such a superstar, and you know, raising money, presenting company, doing presentations, clever as hell. You know, get the trust and get the money in. And now we proved that it's not only word. But yeah, there's a model and it's great. So I would really recommend the ones that would like to try it. And if you're elected, you're elected, and if not, you can, you know, still you have tried. And others, I mean, the location is extremely good, but the also partnership is so valuable. I mean, because otherwise you can just, whoever can do it, but of course you can, nothing is impossible, but it surely helps if you have a partnership with a data center that costs like 25 million euros or something just to start up. Probably it's twice the money they put in. So
the question is, Fredrik, is how do you make those conversations even happen? I mean, now we're listening and combining space with business, and you have an extensive experience by running operations. So, I mean, how you find these opportunities, how you position yourself? I mean, what do you think they're startups that are failing? They maybe have some innovative ideas, but they don't know how to handle operations as much as you do, maybe. What will be your advice for those companies?
Yeah, but I didn't at first. I didn't.
Right. Well,
I was not
nobody's born.
No, like, the thing was when I also took on not only one position. That's like, I don't know. I wasn't an expert at all. I'm educated in other fields. So I'm an environmental engineer, MBA in finance, management diploma as well. And so that's my expert field. And then I come to this, and that's so important, I think, for entrepreneurs. That's also why become an entrepreneur. It's like you're so curious and you say yes, and then you learn along the way.
Yes.
And now in our company we have the mix. So we come from different countries. We are 4 founders, so co-founders,
Yep.
and we come from 3 different countries. So Benjamin is CEO, he's from Austria. Felix, CTO, technical officer, then he's from Germany. Sandra, Chief of Operations, Sweden, and myself from Sweden.
But when you're going to check the website, you're going to see that they're all from Sweden.
Sounds extremely good. And we have also Matthias is from Poland. So it's also, and as I said, I can hint about diverse team, and I can hint that will be more people real soon. And this mixture, which I was going to, and they have different personality, different experience, even different culture, come from different countries, makes it so more, I don't know, makes it more easy to move on, to proceed. Even though you wouldn't have the experience and everything, it makes it more likely to be successful. And then from our mix is that we also come from different backgrounds. So they're, extremely...
We're just filling the gaps for one another.
Yeah. So now I've been working and I've been in a management position for different space companies for several years. So I've learned space as well. So I do know space, but I'm not coming from the university. And then we kind of make complete each other. And I think that's also one of the keys. If you're a single entrepreneur, then you're only you. But if you're building a team, you can review it also to see, and potentially or likely perhaps 2 people are pretty alike, so they say we should do this, yes, and they do it. And then, but when they extend the team, try to find something that you don't have today. You don't need a third one the same. You don't need a third one to say yes. You need a third one to say, how could you just take that one more time so I understand it, or should we really do it, or in some ways like highlight other angles. I don't say like there need to be risks all the time, but ask questions or come within something that you don't have, so other
just challenge the narrative.
Exactly. And it would probably be great if you come in with some other type of expert field, so you don't have 3 CFOs. So that would become a really interesting entrepreneur company. It's like, but you need, and that's what we have done.
Venture out into financial.
Perhaps, I don't know, and then I will just sit there and say, oh, what a brilliant team. Envy them all day long.
So talking about obviously diverse team, group of people, the key here, we have a lot of young entrepreneurs also watching this and thinking about venture out into space. What will be your advice of finding people? My advice for them, I said, look, finding the right partner for the team. If that's CFO, CTO, COO, it's just like getting married. That means you need to go more than a couple of dates.
Exactly.
You need to go and date and find. But what will be your tip for people? Because that's a very big thing. You can break the company, or you can, grow.
You really need to. We're talking about entrepreneur, not just hiring. Because I come from a different type of background. I'm sitting here right now. Been working professional for 20 years, and I said like, hell, why didn't I do this 20 years ago? But I wasn't ready then. I needed to do other things. I wanted to. Grow in other positions, and it took quite some time then becoming this entrepreneur in space, but it was not my time then. And then when we found each other, there were like, you just need to feel that you connect. On the personal level, that you find this, that we would like to do this journey together, not because you don't think, oh, that's a superstar. But what's going to happen if that superstar is totally you can't agree on stuff with a person, because you need to agree so you can move on. And move on could be to say no to something.
Yeah.
Because that you can, combine
Or
your
being
forces.
a yes man sometimes it's very hard.
Yeah. But so that you have this like honest feeling about each other before you get into this marriage. Because likely a marriage would fail if you don't trust each other. Because if you start to lose the trust, then you think about I'm not trusting you anymore. You do shady stuff.
Yeah.
And if you think about that, your partner in the company, it's the way that's not going to be successful. And then probably you're going to have agreements because it's money involved.
Right.
And money is not a good thing if you don't trust each other.
Yeah.
You need to have the trust, and the trust is based also that you are honest with you and the one that you talk with. I think that's super important.
Yes. For kind of more of a personal question for you, because even though we see successful companies, CEOs, CCOs, CEOs, they're speaking on stages, they're presenting what the companies and solutions that they provide, and it's fantastic. And we see the growth and the projection in terms of Arctic Space, because obviously we're connected. Nicholas actually connected with you, and we closely follow your journey, and it's beautiful to see. And we as a company, that's what we wanted to see here, and to continually to add beyond this in terms of to support with the success that you're receiving, to have more of that. On a personal perspective, at the end of the day, we're all here, we're all people, right? So how does somebody who's, as you mentioned before when we started this, that has a family, is married, kids, has a relationship, how do you manage all of that while managing your team and finances and raising? How does the life of a entrepreneur actually looks like, and how you can have just that kind of sustainable life, at the same time?
Probably could differ depending who you ask.
Right.
But I have the best wife in the
recipe?
world. Yeah,
Okay.
that's. So then you come into love, and I was talking with you earlier, like you need to love what you do from the professional perspective, and that it's totally the same with family.
Right.
And then this trust. We trust each other on a level that's, I can't believe it could be anymore. And of course it is, you're always at a wrong place. When you're at home, you should be somewhere else to do the company thing. And when you're in Turkey doing this fun, I definitely should be at home. I definitely should not be away this weekend because there were stuff that my kids are doing, and that was like bad timing. But the thing was, when like, should we go to Bursa? It's like, Bursa, where's the Turkey? Yes, I didn't even look at the dates. Okay, September. I thought it was September. I thought September, it's good. And it's like, oh, it was the weekend, which I just realized not too long ago. Yeah. It's like, Annette is my wife. Like, I said I should be away, and she was like, probably you said, because you say so many things that you're going to be away all the time.
It's tough to management. It's always, it's like, as I see, it's just juggling balls in the air all the time.
But I love it.
Drop one. Yeah.
But the thing is that for me, I've been doing, this yes man figure for so many years, and I've been working, having business trips, so it's become a natural thing. Before the kids were born, and they are 14 and 16 now.
Oh wow!
So they are. I'm not saying it's good, but the issue or challenge is that if you are a personality that have this, I don't know, if it's a gene or I don't know what it is. Probably. They can look when I die. They are.
They're gonna study you.
Yeah, you can study me, and probably.
What's in it?
It's like, oh, it's just empty. No, but you need to be happy also in the work-life balance.
Yes.
And of course there are not for everybody, and there are so many different ways to look at it. And I get so much energy from working. Might sound crazy, but I'd be so tired when I sleep too much. And then of course you should sleep. I'm not saying that you shouldn't sleep. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I want to say I have issues going to sleep, not because I have a hard time to fall asleep.
Yeah.
But it's things to do, and I like to train, and if I haven't done it before, I do it in the evening. or in the night. So
That's amazing. I mean, definitely, I see a lot of similarities, and just having the passion and just working and just understanding that time is running.
Yeah.
Time is running out again with the space industry. We need the solutions for space that Arctic Space provides, right? So there is room always to improve, to grow. As you mentioned, after this episode will come out, maybe there are going to be another few more people that you can add to the team. So there's always something to do, right?
Yeah.
There's always that kind of next step.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah. And we just started. I mean, this is really
Right.
just the start off of the company.
Right.
We have taken lift off, but we haven't moved that far in the plans that we have. But it's a great thing to do. I mean, to work with those companies that you mentioned, and have a valued partner in Eco Data Center, the first positive climate data center. So that's just one thing that makes it so special for us, and then we want to use it, and we will extend our services. We will do many things that we aren't doing today, because then we can do it. We don't want to have a low valuation of the company when we do our Series A. We want to be in a significant level, which means that this business perspective becomes much more interesting, because I want to grow a company together with my colleagues, a successful company that will be well known. And as I said, I hope that the company will be invited to ISC to say, can't you come and you could be so valuable for others to hear your story. And when that happens, I'm gonna feel, okay, now we accomplished something.
Right.
Somebody would like to hear our story,
right.
not going around. And I'm happy to tell the story. It's like, and I can do it every day. But when somebody asks me, or like university calls and say, hey, can't you come? We have young entrepreneurs that needs to get energy from someone and hear this story. And I would do that. I mean, I told you less than 5 years. I don't have time to wait longer than that.
Well, but I don't know how your wife will react to that. I mean, that means more time away from the family, so that has to be.
I'm at home. I think I'm at home pretty much. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna be home tomorrow evening. So.
Perfect. Well, look, we really enjoyed your presence, and obviously saw Sandra and you here in the hall, and it's really good to see innovative companies that look in through this lens of sustainability and seeing and following the growth. And for us, obviously, as also young individuals, we see that trend. We see the change that's happening. We saw some of the panels where we talked about space junk and obviously anything kind of happening in space or here on the planet when it comes to the climate change. I mean, there's a lot of issues and challenges that we're facing, right? And we're very happy to see companies like Arctic Space that are solving some of the issues that's happening here. So, I mean, I wish a lot of success for your company, a good raise for the A raise when that's going to happen. We're definitely going to follow your company closely. I do encourage everybody who's watching or listening to do the same. ArcticSpace.sc, that's the place to go. I'm sure you're going to find social media links also included. So make sure to follow them closely, follow them journey, get in contact for the services, learn more about product solutions.
Yes, and I would say just, reach out. I'm happy to have a meeting, video meeting, phone call, send me a text, email. I mean, if I could just be of some help for somebody, no cost, of course, I'd be happy to. So, and you mentioned the movie, you can find it on the webpage.
Yes.
It just gives a good summary of Arctic Space and the challenges that we have and what we do.
That's perfect. Well, with that note, thank you, Fredrik, again being on Altair Insights podcast, and it's a pleasure again to meet you once again.
Thank you so much for taking me here. Thanks.
Thank you.